Hey guys, welcome to Oddcast, a for nerds by nerds show. I'm here with my co-host Joe. Why are you quiet, Joe?
Well, you said my name for me, so it was like, what am I going to insert? I'm here with my co-host, Joe. My name's Joe. Like, that just seems like a weird jump in. I'm here with my co-host, Judo.
I figured, I was like, hey, how's it going, guys? You said nothing.
Hey, man. Hey, I don't know. I don't know what you want from me.
Today we're actually going to be talking about the, actually one of the hit series on HBO Max, Lovecraft Country. That's a Jordan Peele and Bad Robot, J.J. Abrams project, which is crazy. Like, that's a interesting combination.
You know what, though? Interesting combos always they yield typically the best results.
You get, like, deep story and lots of lens flares.
Although, now that you've said it, has there been a lens flare?
There's been a few lens flares.
Interesting. I don't remember them. They don't stand out.
I think I said it at one point. I was like, oh, there's JJ's lens flare.
Yep. So, you know what? Maybe I missed it because every time we watch an episode, all I hear is the same thing. God, she's hot.
Yes. Because Journey
every
is
time.
Super attractive. And Jamie Chung as well. Like, Jesus Christ.
And every time, though. All right, so Lovecraft Country, if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. We're going to... Okay, so real quick. Out of 10, what do you give it?
I give it a solid 8.
All right, I'm on board. 8. I'm going to go with 8 also. Each episode leaves you wanting a little bit more. Yep. They give you enough information. It's based kind of historically because they loop around into the time spectrum, which is kind of cool. And now... we're going to dig more into spoilers. So
before we dig into spoilers, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button. That way you'll know when we're doing reviews for games or movies or television or whatever we decide to do.
Yeah. So now we're going to do kind of a deeper dive into Lovecraft Country. So things that you liked about it. What were your favorite? What are your favorite moments?
I like the setting that it takes place in. The setting is great. The music, like. What's interesting about the music, it works well. Even though it's like today's music or modern music, it works well with that 50s setting. It's weird. But like, I think that's the Jordan Peele thing, because he does that a lot, actually, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Let's see. My favorite thing. Ooh, man, that's tough. I like the way that they handle magic.
Yeah?
I mean, it's ritualistic. They linked it back to the Bible, which is interesting, and the Book of Names. And the Book of Names is just going to keep showing up everywhere now.
Yeah, basically. There's always going to be some sort of ultra book.
And as it suggests, with the name Lovecraft Country, it does bring in the ideas of the ancient ones, but they haven't really been brought up yet.
Yeah, actually, I had a look, not really an issue, but I noticed that the first 3 to 4 episodes of the series, they kind of start doing this whole thing with H.P. Lovecraft stories and his novels and stuff like that, and how they kind of are based in fact, apparently, according to the show.
Well, yeah, that he'd seen stuff.
Or that he's seen stuff. And then they somehow, after a while, completely just went off left field from it.
I don't think that they went completely left field with it. Like, as you follow Christina, or Christine, I mean, her story kind of has always... Her and Tick kind of share the same story. Two sides of the same coin, as it were.
Yeah.
So both of them are held down for different reasons. One of them's a black man, one of them's a white woman. People always make that comparison of the women's rights movement and the civil rights movement and how they kind of went hand in hand. And both of them are kind of coming into their own as far as like how magic works and that kind of stuff. Now, I think... the one thing that I find the most interesting is that Christine's character evolves.
Yes.
And there are definitely some things that happen, especially in the last episode, the last 2 episodes, where it kind of builds on those character things.
There were a lot of big character developments the last, I would say, 3 to 4 episodes.
Yeah, the 3 episodes are like all hard story stuff, like just laying the groundwork for kind of where you can see them going for the next season. And you and I have had a debate for since we watched the finale, which is you think that they're going to do almost like an American Horror Story approach. Yeah,
I kind of have this idea that due to the way it ends, I kind of have this idea that they're actually potentially could do one or two things. Either A, do a continuation of the story, maybe take it sometime later, maybe a couple of years later in the future, or they're going to do the whole American Horror Story to where it's going to be Lovecraft Country, maybe even the same cast or a completely new cast following the same type of feel, maybe even a different era. That's my thought.
I think that they're going to follow the same cast and the same story with the groundwork that they've already laid, but with other villains. So at the end of the season, they take magic away from all the white people.
Yeah.
At least that's what they claim to have done, but I don't think that's possible, only because technically black people weren't denied magic. They just weren't told that it existed.
That's why
Even though there was a priestess earlier who made magic powerful enough to stop the white magicians.
Well, I think what they did is that they made it to where maybe white people can't use magic, to where like they might have the know-how but can't pull it off for some reason because they're
right. So I mean, I just I find it weird, and that's where I think the ancient ones are going to come into it. Like, okay, cool. So you might even say that they robbed white people of the magic from the Book of Names.
right.
But that just means that they'll find a different power source. Like, black people didn't have the Book of Names, and that priestess still made, like I said, she made a spell that repelled,
Yeah.
all except for the welcomed magics.
One of the things that I do like about the series is that it's not just weird creature sci-fi type stuff. They brought in super science fiction like time travel. They brought in
Well, not even time travel. It's multi-dimensional time travel.
multi-dimensional time
Like,
travel.
it's all over the damn place. Like, they brought in Dracula's castle. They didn't actually go to Dracula's castle. They just bring it up. They use a lot of, like, literary reference, and, like, they build on it and build on it. And I think that's very interesting to me. And Christine is, to me, I get to compare her to Adeline Shade from Grimm, because, pretty blonde lady.
Would you say that she was the villain?
No.
I think she was borderline. She was
She was not the villain.
anti-hero?
Well, no. So she's not even the anti-hero. What makes her interesting is that she is a foil to Tick.
Okay.
But she is not the antagonist of the story. The antagonist is the patriarchy that both of them are fighting.
Correct. I would agree with that.
Because they're both fighting the dawn of the new sun, or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And along with a lot of underlying issues, especially in the 50s when it comes to race and
racism is like super high. So if you're easily offended, don't watch it.
Yeah,
It's
not your thing if you get super offended.
It delves heavy into racism, but what's really interesting and fascinating to me is that they didn't tell you enough of the history of the organization for you to know all the different places that it could go. All that we do know is that there are 25 lodges, I think, but they didn't specify if that was worldwide or just in America. I have a feeling that that's just in America, and as we know, magics run pretty deep in Europe. And then the little girl goes like full-on villain almost towards the end.
Yeah, I didn't
almost to the point where I don't think that that's the little girl. I think that she's been taken over.
You think, was it Topsy and Flop?
No, I think Titus. He's a ghost. He gets resurrected and then brought back. And that's also why I have a hard time buying that Tick and Christine are dead. Because if you can resurrect Titus using the book to bring them back, and the book is still around, there's no reason to believe that you would not be able to resurrect the two of them. And that's why I'm like, I don't think Christine is truly dead, especially since her apprentice, I'm pretty sure, is still alive, and that's Ruby. I don't think Ruby's dead.
I mean,
because she legitimately loved her.
I don't think Ruby's dead. The reason why I think Chrissy's dead is because she was completely helpless. She didn't even act like it was like a no.
So I agree with you. She was completely helpless, and she knew that she was going to die. But the great thing about escalation is that when you escalate to the next tier of villain, one of the things that you often find you need is the previous tier of villain. You get to a certain point. So, like, Christine knew a lot more than what this group knows. Her spell has failed. She can't succeed at it now. However, having somebody, even if they can't practice the magic, that understands the magic around to help your team is a good thing. Kind of like taking a demon and bringing them into the fold of your team to help you in the final fight. Also important. And we know that she has not even begun to embrace the darkness yet, because that's what the other witch said. Not using the Book of Names and not white. I'm just saying that there's other magics.
I think overall the show was great. I think a lot of people should watch it if you have the stomach for it. It was well written. It was the cinematography was
beautifully acted.
Was fantastic. The cast was unbelievable. So definitely, I recommend everybody to watch it. If you've already watched it, what's your opinion about how they ended? Do you think that, like I think, that it might be potentially like another American Horror Story type thing, to where it's going to be a whole new story, maybe even using some of the same cast, or do you think like Joe, where it's going to be the same cast continuation, maybe a couple years later?
I think they're building up. I think they're building it up. And if they don't bring Tick back, then that means that he's just like Ned.
Yeah, either way,
which means that on HBO, if you've got 3 letters in your name, odds are you're dead.
So definitely let us know in the comments what you think is going to happen in season 2, or if you're even excited for season 2. Because I'm ready for another
I'm
season.
ready. I mean, but it's going to be a while.
So, but
unless we jump into the Ori and then we can have it tomorrow. But then is it the right one, or is it that universe's version of it?
More likely it's probably going to be that universe's one.
Man, that's crazy.
Like I said, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification. That way you know when our next episode is out.
Let us know if you think Cthulhu is going to rise.
I think Cthulhu should rise.
I mean, he was in the previews for it and stuff, and he was in
weird
Tick's dream.
Yeah. Later, guys.
Later.